Welcome to Perceptional Imprints, and I have today Adina with me. Adina,
Yes.
welcome on the show.
Hello, Abhishek.
And thanks for doing this. Thanks for agreeing to do this. And
Yes.
I'm super excited to have you on the show. And there's so much I am interested and intrigued to learn about. So maybe you could present yourself of what you do. And,
Okay.
What
Yeah.
you bring.
Okay, so I'm a geologist. I'm
Okay.
a PhD student in geology, earth sciences,
Uh-huh.
with specialization in geology
Geology.
at UQAM, Université du Québec in Montreal. And yeah, I'm pretty much finishing my PhD right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Congrats on that.
yes,
Congratulations
I'm
on
like,
that.
you
And
know,
how long-
close to finish, like
How
this
long?
close.
How long, if I could ask?
Way too long.
Way too
I
long.
don't want to think about it. Well, it's been okay. I should say it. It's been 7 years.
Oh wow!
Yes.
7 years.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been pretty long, and it's not
It
like
is long.
normally this long. I mean, it really depends, but I think I'm ready to finish.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, like I know it's been a long time, but I think I was kind of like taking my time on this journey. You know,
Okay.
learning different things,
Okay.
learning about who I am, and learning about how to deal with people.
And
general.
I think I'll be super interested to know more about the journey.
I could
if you,
tell
if
you.
yeah, if you could, if you're willing to share.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. I mean, it's not very often I get to tell anyone about like my PhD journey. It's
So,
a very solitary journey.
Okay, and
Yes.
I believe it. I believe it. And
Yeah.
and I'm curious to know how it started and like what your journey has been and how it has been basically. And like you said, that also helped you to know yourself, to know people around. So do you want to explain more on that? Like,
So first of all, how it started. I mean, I think, you know, it always starts kind of cheesy. Like
Yeah.
as a child, I was like interested in rocks and
Okay.
I wanted to study them, which is true because I had like a rock collection, and
Okay.
that's kind of thanks to my mom because she was like really into rocks as well. So she pushed me towards this,
okay.
and basically that's how I got my love for rocks. But then it was a like long journey before I actually chose geology again. Like I kind of lost it. Yeah, and then as I was saying throughout my journey, I learned what my strengths are. You know, like kind of in a work environment, how to handle stress, how to handle myself in a workplace, and when I don't have anyone to be held accountable by, you know, it's just me.
And
Yeah.
is that also like you were working while you were studying?
Yeah, I was working. So basically, for my PhD, I had to do some field work
Okay.
first of all. So I did 2 summers in the field,
Okay.
working on my PhD, and then and it was kind of like a job because I was also getting like a salary. And then the other summers, I had 2 summers off where I was kind of just working on my PhD, and then I worked. Yeah, in the mining industry, and
Okay.
I worked, mostly mining industry actually.
And I was curious to know about the field. What do you call a field? For
The
like, for
field,
people?
oh,
Yeah.
that's true. For me, it's like so obvious. I'm going to the
like
field.
going to the field. But what's that field?
So going to the field for me, it's going on a field campaign where you're gonna map or do exploration or work in the field, basically.
Okay.
Like you're traveling somewhere to go either look at the rocks or help other people in the field. I don't know. It's a good question. Because for me, it's so obvious I'm going to the field. But I
Yeah.
guess if you're talking to a biologist,
Uh-huh.
going
Their
to the
field
field
would be
for them
different.
would be going to the forest and
Yeah,
look at like caribou.
field differs for different.
So I think the definition of the field, but that's a good question because I guess if my field, that's a very good question.
Okay, and how do you decide where to go?
So usually I work for a company, so they hire me and they send me to a different location where their project is.
Okay,
basically.
and like, can I ask here about the projects? When you say projects,
Yeah.
what do they actually do? What do you actually do at the field?
In the field, okay,
Yeah.
what exactly do we do? So basically, but then there's different stages of exploration projects. Like
Exploration.
yes,
Okay.
because there's like junior companies that do mostly exploration projects, and then there's more major or intermediate companies that actually mine the projects that were found by the junior companies.
Okay.
We're getting very technical here.
Okay.
but
Okay. So it's like
yeah, so-
two-step process first step.
You find the deposit, or you find basically you buy the claims. So the claims, a claim, is what's under our feet, basically. Everything in the soil, it's basically you buy the right to exploit those resources.
Okay.
So basically, even
from the government.
Yes. Okay. So basically, even here, like if you own the house in Montreal, somebody could technically still come and buy the claim of your underneath your house.
Okay.
But that's I mean, in a city like Montreal, that's never going to happen. Like, or even like in very populated areas,
densely populated.
That's not going to happen. Even in national parks, like you know, the regulations are pretty strict. You can't just go and buy somebody's claims.
Okay.
But so that's the first step. You buy the claim, and to choose the claim, you have to do like lots of research to kind of know where to go. So then you buy the claim, then you find the deposit on that claim. You hope for it because it's very rare. It's not like it's not you just buy a claim and you find a deposit. It's, you know, it's like a lot of work that goes into it.
So let's say if I want to buy a claim, how do I know where to buy?
You go on the government website and you just look at the map. You see which claims are already bought, which ones are free, which ones are national parks, cities, and you could just buy it on the website.
I'm trying to understand. If you could help me with my thoughts. So let's say I know this is the place where I could find something, like under the list of all the claims. I select one, and like I buy that claim. How would I know? I mean, there's no guarantee that I would find something. That's what you said?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Then why, like, how come you get a list of claims? Like, how do you find it? Like,
do you mean the claims that have
on
a potential?
The list? Yeah.
Or that have a potential for something? Well, you need to do research before you buy your claims. Like, you need to read about the area. You need to look at the geology that has been done there before, the research.
So someone actually does the work and put those that this could be a potential.
Yes.
This particular area could be a potential, and there could be a claim. So they do a survey and then they put it on the government website.
Exactly, and everybody has access to that information. You can go and buy claims if you want. Yes.
Okay.
You can have your own mine. I have a friend who actually did that, which was not like the best. Well, not the nicest thing, but she hasn't done anything about it.
Okay, so she just got a claim, but done nothing about it.
So basically, there's this person who had like a quartz mine. You know, like the amethyst crystals. Anyway, and she just bought the claims of that mine, even if this person like sometimes exploits the quartz, but this person didn't buy the claims of its own mine, so my friend just bought the claims, but I don't think she's going to do anything. It's just like for fun. It was like kind of a joke. I hope it's just a joke.
And how expensive, if I could ask, what's the range starting from, and maybe the highest?
To be honest, I don't know what the price of
the basic
the claim. It's around maybe like $40-50, I would say, per
starting.
I would say, something like that. But then the more you keep it, the more work you need to put into them. So you need to pay, basically. You need to, you can't just keep that claim forever. It expires at some point.
But you said claim is a place.
Yeah, it's a physical place. Yeah.
It's a physical place.
Yeah, it's definitely a physical place. So basically it's, maybe it could be in a mountain or in a forest or under our house. And you know, just buy the claim.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So have you had any claims?
No, me personally, I don't own any claims. No.
And if I could ask why, I mean, it could be a personal question, but I'm just curious, because if you are a person who's mining it, why can't you have your own claim?
I could buy my own claims, but the thing is that if I buy claims, I need to know where I'm buying. I'm not just gonna like spend my money for something I'm not sure about. So I need to do some research. And I just haven't had the time because I've been doing research for my PhD. Which I mean, I guess I could have done other research, but I put my time into other stuff.
Makes sense. I mean, I was curious because a person who's...
No, you're totally right. I could, you know what? A funny story. I mean, I did discover like a showing of lithium in James Bay area, which is northern Quebec. And basically, I did not buy the claims of that place. So somebody else bought it. And now it's kind of like they're making profit out of it. But I mean... I could have claimed it, but I didn't think about it at that time, you know?
I want to actually get back to the thing you mentioned. So if I buy a claim and if I find something, like I'm like, do I have the right to keep it, or how much do I owe to the government? Like, how does it work?
Oh, if you find some, well, then the next process, the step of the process begins where you need to apply for permitting to open a mine, basically, to open the mine, and or you could also bring the projects into value, so show value for the projects, and they just basically sell it to a bigger company who they will develop a mine on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I have a smaller, if I buy a smaller claim, not a big, like a potential of a big mine.
Yeah.
And let's say I'm this might sound funny or silly.
No.
It's like, let's say I buy a small claim, and it could be a small piece of land, and I don't want to open a big mine, like, you know, people
Just a
would
small
like
mine?
small, like how do you say, like,
like
people just go with chisels and everything?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Like,
No.
like the small dwarfs from
Is that
Cinderella.
possible? No.
Not.
That's why I said
I mean,
it might be silly, but
I guess. Yeah, you could do that actually. Yeah, definitely. You can have like
like my own. I could
your own,
take
like,
my own time,
personal-
and then you know.
I guess you could. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you would still need to apply for a permit though, because it would count as an open pit mine. You know, like open pit, because there's two types of mines. There's open pit and underground.
Okay.
So even if you don't want to go underground, obviously for your small theoretical mine, you still want to dig. So you're going to make a pit.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
even if
this
it's a
like
small
ongoing.
pit, it's still a pit. Unless you don't tell anyone about it, you just keep it a secret. Then you can take whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
You know
what.
what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
And since you mentioned take whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I had this question. Let's say you go to a mine, and firstly, okay, I'll come back to that question after. But let's say first you go to mine, and you start digging. You find something like really interesting. Who else knows about it? Like, and are you allowed to keep it, or
Like
how does it work?
Like you mean?
Like you have been sent by your company now.
Okay, yeah. Like,
and that's a project that's going on, and you're doing your research on the field. That's what you mentioned. You go to a field, and you do your research. And so what are you looking for? And let's say if you find something, how does that work?
Well, if I guess if the company sends you to a place, we kind of either are looking for something new, or we're looking for the showing that has already, you know, been found. So basically we're just trying to find something shiny usually in the field, you know, kind of like that's kind of what we're, and it could look different ways, I guess. It could be just like small specks of, you know, sniffs of what we're looking for, or it could be like a, you know, I mean, I guess the question you're asking and what people usually imagine when we're thinking about mining, it's that big like chunk of gold that we find in the river, right?
Yeah.
But
that's what I thought.
Yes, but nowadays mostly that's not what it looks like.
Is it just because a lot have been already taken?
Exactly, because most of like the really like easy to find deposits have already been found. Like those big nuggets, you can imagine that most of those rivers have been walked or have been, you know, looked at. So
looked at already. Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying there's none still left
but
to
the
be
majority
discovered.
is the majority.
The easy gold,
ones,
as we say in the industry, we say the easy gold has been found. So now we have to go deeper and like look for smaller stuff, you know. Like,
have you ever found gold?
Yeah, like, you know, I have a rock right here.
Ooh.
You know, try to find the gold in there.
Oh, you said gold, no?
Yes.
This is not gold?
Not really, no.
Okay.
There's maybe a small speck of gold in there, but most of it is just quartz. So
quartz,
it's
the stone. Quartz
yes,
is the stone.
yeah, exactly. So it's like the mineral, you know, like my friend who had the mine of silica. Basically, this is what it's.
I don't know. I see few things shining, but I can't.
Well, there you go. So it's.
But
kind
is
of,
there gold there?
Yes, there's gold in there. I could tell you there's.
Can you point me out, like point it out to me so that I could at least.
Yeah, you see this like really shiny small speck?
Oh my god!
Yes. Yeah.
And that's gold.
Yes, that's gold.
Okay.
So.
And how do you take it? How do you take it out?
Yeah. So then, you know, there's different processes where you have to crush the rock and you just extract those small specks that you see there.
Wow.
So basically, yeah, it's not what people imagine anymore. Like we've seen all in cartoons, that nugget, but that's not what it looks like. So it's less impressive when I tell people this is what I'm finding. They're like, oh, okay.
No, but it's super difficult too, I guess. So let's say if you find this, now you know this is potential. You break that mountain.
And go straight for the mountain.
No, I mean, like you mine it and you get tiny little fragments and then you collect.
Yes, that's exactly.
Like a long process.
Yeah. So basically, that's when you make the mine and you have like the machinery that is gonna break. You have to blast and you have to people who bring the dynamite and they just like blow up the rock, and then trucks that come get it, put it in their back of their truck, bring it to a treatment plant.
Blowing up the rock or blasting. Wouldn't that impact the gold?
No, not really. No, because it's a really resistant mineral. So
so even if it's broken, you just still have to find.
The gold stays intact basically.
Okay. That's interesting. That's super interesting.
I know, right?
And I wanted to get back to the first question. How do you know what is what? You said there's first company that who mines or who points what is where, and then the second company takes the contract and do it. So I just want to understand the first company, what they do.
So basically, they find the deposit or they buy the claims. They decide where they're going to buy the next claims. And they do their research, they go visit the property, they buy it, they go on the government website and they make the purchase and
Okay, no, but let's say even if it's not on the government website, how does it actually go on the government website initially?
But the claim, if it's available, it's going to be on the website.
How is it available? How do I know?
Because if you go on the website and you see if you can buy it, it's available, and if you can't buy it, it's because it's not available.
No. My question is, where do these claims come from? Who puts those claims? What is this claim about, and how does it?
I guess they have people working in the government that just deal with that. They kind of
know that this property has potential.
No, I mean, because you can buy claims everywhere.
Okay.
Even if there's nothing that has been discovered there.
Okay.
But if you think there's a potential, you can go
and register it.
Buy that claim. Okay. So it's not like these claims are everywhere. You can buy them everywhere, but the thing is that only few. How can I explain this? So you just buy the claims that interest you, but the other ones, they're still available. Somebody else can buy them.
Okay.
But for you as a company to decide where you buy the claims, then you need to do your research and see where there's a potential for a deposit.
Okay.
So for that, it's a lot of work that goes into deciding where you physically buy the claims.
Okay.
Because basically, I make a transaction to buy these claims, which are located in, let's say, Abitibi. And then from there, I need to go visit those claims and see what's the rocks or,
I was actually about to ask you if you could walk us through your regular day at the field. So in the field. So how do you start? Like you have a list of or the location of where to visit, and then you go to the field.
Yes.
And then what happens?
So so basically, the night before the day we go in the field, we decide where we're gonna go. We make some research to see what we're gonna see during the day. Has that area been mapped before? Okay. Has it been walked and somebody has looked at those rocks before or not? So then we take all that information, we put it usually on a tablet, and then we prepare our field gear for the day, and then we leave from camp in the morning, either different ways, by truck, by ATV, by helicopter sometimes.
Ooh, nice.
and we just get to that location that we have planned.
Okay.
And usually we use a GPS for that.
Okay.
And then we start our day, and then we just hike basically the whole day, looking at the rocks, and we just basically walk through the bush, walk through basically the swamp, anything. We just walk straight.
So you have a defined radius of how long or how much area do you need to cover and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the people who are doing the work, yeah, for sure.
And also the number of people who would go would also depend on how much area you need to cover.
Yes, exactly. And then also depending what kind of work you're doing. If you're doing detailed mapping, you're going to do less walking, but if you're doing really like large scale mapping, then you're going to be walking more.
Okay, can you explain can you explain about mapping? What mapping?
Mapping is basically walking just in the field and looking at the rocks and putting it on a map.
Okay.
So basically it's just telling the public what those rocks are. Because I have the knowledge, because I have studied.
You have studied, you have put it, and so that would be useful for someone else.
Exactly. Like so they have to kind of take my word for it or not, you know, make their own opinion, but that's my opinion basically, or my opinion.
And is it like
from all the observations, obviously.
And is it like validated if someone goes and puts that, okay, I found this here. Is there a point of validation someone actually does it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you do a lot of lab work to see if there's like the element you're looking for, or if you have the percentage that you're looking for. So yeah, for sure. And then if there, you know, if it's like a deposit that's, or if every time there's like resources, you kind of need to write a report for the government. So then you could hire an outside person, like an external person, who's going to be kind of like a consultant. So then, there's a lot of like regulation. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's
you can't just like lie. I mean, before, I haven't seen that movie called Gold.
I don't remember.
Oh, so basically it's like the story of this geologist who was working in Indonesia, and him and his partner, they said they found the biggest deposit ever in the history of and it turned out to be like a fake. But the markets really were affected by this information. So after that, the geology job was a lot more regulated. Has been a lot more regulated than it used to be before this incident. And that's like in the 90s. It's not that long ago.
Okay. And what's your fun part at work or at like all this field mapping and everything?
I mean, just hiking all day, I guess. Just being outside. I mean, that's like the best thing. I don't know. That's such a good thing, especially in the summertime when it's nice out. I mean.
And I believe there's nothing going on in the winter.
In the winter, yeah. In the projects that are drilling.
Yeah, I mean they would cover and then still drill it.
So you still need a geologist that is going to go to the drill and kind of validate that the work is being done correctly. So you still need geologists, but that's not what I'm doing. That's not my specialty. It's not for me. I mean, I don't see myself doing that.
Okay, but I'm also trying to understand. When you say the work is going on correctly when they're already mining it, what do you mean? Like, is there something that, we have started this, but it might go wrong, or you're probably digging it in a different direction, different amount, like.
That's exactly it. Because when you put the drill into the rock, it could go, if it could deviate from its initial target. So then they need a geologist to kind of validate that it's okay to keep going or stop.
Oh wow!
And drilling is very expensive. It's like very costly. So companies, they have to be very careful with those expenses.
So it's better to kind of validate it every single step instead of doing all the way at the end, and you realize it's worth nothing.
And spend all that money.
For nothing.
So a geologist costs less, I guess.
Okay. Sense. I mean, it's at least one person's pay instead of like entire drill section and the workers.
That's exactly it. You got it.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned you go with your team, and how, like, what was your biggest team size that you've been
on a project? Well, yeah, I worked on like with 100 people projects, and with like 15 people, even
the smallest
was 2.
The smallest was 2.
Yeah, when I was doing but this wasn't for mining company. This was for my PhD work. And we were just 2.
And let's say if you find something and just Can you split between two and like
Yeah, but
not everyone would know?
I guess you could, but the thing is, as I mentioned before, you're not just gonna. I mean, you could
You
find
won't find the chunks.
like the
thing.
chunks of gold, and even there, I think it's better to get like to share that joy with everyone than just keep it to myself and this other person. I mean, I'm not in this industry for those reasons, you know. Like, I guess if I found like a nice gem, I don't know, I would be very tempted. Like if I find an emerald or like, you know, like a sapphire, you know, like I'd be like, oh, should I keep
No, I mean,
this?
I'm not saying like a full piece, but just like a small, like a memory, like a memoir.
Well, I did keep one.
Okay.
I mean, you see the gold in there.
Yes,
I swear you
absolutely,
do.
Absolutely, I do now.
It's in there. But yeah, so I guess we could keep a little bit, but yeah, in the end, that's not gonna. It's not monetary. It's just kind of like.
Okay. No, I'm like so intrigued with this, and now it feels like if I find something on the street, I would actually look upside down. Maybe there's gold. Maybe I don't know. It's like I never realized. I've never known that it could be just like a
small speck.
Of gold.
A speck of gold.
So maybe people who are watching, maybe if they're throwing stones, and you know. Sitting nearby the river or the lake, and then you never know, there might be a speck of gold.
You never know.
You never know.
You gotta look.
Know, yeah.
You know, you can find many things when you look on the ground, like a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Observe.
Observe.
It's the key of finding gold.
It's the key. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you would like to share about your experiences? Because you said there's so much in your journey throughout these 7 years. And anything else you want to add about your journey
for the PhD?
For the PhD and
yes. Have you done any like graduate studies?
Yes, I did my master's.
Oh, okay. How was that for you?
It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, like what was your like? Was it research or like?
No, it was a course based.
Did you do like a small project? Like
we had multiple projects. Okay. Yeah. I did research.
So you had to write for like how long?
Not long, but it was semester based.
Okay.
So I had to do semester.
Okay. So you just like sporadically wrote here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How does that relate?
I mean, it's just because I was wondering if you had like writing experiences, let's say for months of just writing.
No.
Because then, you know, I guess it's just like writers, you know, you just it's a writing job basically. You just sit down and write, and it's hard. I mean, I guess for everyone it's hard to just sit down and write. You know? I don't know. I used to not like writing, but more it goes, more I actually enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess after this 7 years.
How would you feel after when you don't have anything much to write at least? How would you feel?
I think I'm just gonna keep writing. I think that's gonna happen.
Non-theoretical?
No, actually, continuing research.
Oh, continuing research.
Yeah,
okay,
I think that's.
I thought your writing would take you to like writing skills, writing novels, writing books.
Oh, writing in that sense.
I mean, just because you like.
I never know. You never know what could happen. I mean, maybe I'm gonna write something, but for now, I'm just gonna keep writing. Like
keep writing
research.
For your research. Okay.
Yeah.
But once you're done, you would still continue with your research, but for the companies.
Or the government.
I
have not like really made up my mind yet if I'm gonna go with the government or the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to become a geologist or just to get into research, do you need any additional requirements initially? Like, you do this to get here?
Well, I mean, to get into geology, research, because they're two different things.
Okay, can you explain?
To go into geology is just kind of a undergraduate program. Okay. It's a science program.
Okay. And then you can choose your paths to go much more detail, like into research, like a PhD or a master's or PhD, and then
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So then you can definitely just, if you have a subject that interests you, then you can choose to study that in further, in more detail.
Okay. And just because I talked more about life lessons, any life lessons from your field, like
from the field.
From the field, like, oh, I went
Oh
there
my God,
expecting
oh my
this,
God.
but
Yeah.
I didn't find. Do you feel disappointed? Do you feel like?
Oh, that in that sense. That's a good question. I really enjoy rocks.
Okay.
So even if there's nothing that I'm looking for, I'm still gonna find something I'm looking for, if that makes sense. I really love rocks. I really love looking at them and trying to understand where they come from or how they formed or what they have been through.
What they have been through. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
because
Okay,
you know
that's
some rocks are really old and they've been through a lot.
Wow.
Well, not poor rocks, but
Right.
but they're they've seen some.
I
some
believe that's a
stuff.
nice message because, like,
They've seen some stuff.
the rocks actually are something now
Yeah.
because they've gone through a lot.
Exactly. That's
Like,
exactly. They've
That's a
seen
life lesson there.
Yes, definitely a life lesson. They've seen the cold.
Yeah.
They've seen the ice
heat,
age.
Yeah, the sun.
The heat.
Yeah.
Yes, whatever. You know, some of them were in the equator and now they're in the North Pole, and
Yeah.
you know, like they move around.
They move
Rocks.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of them, you know, but some of them are just forming. You know,
Mm.
they're neo-forming rocks, baby rocks.
Okay. And what's your hardest, if I have to say, what's your hardest day, or what was your toughest day look like
Like in the field.
in the field? Like,
Oh.
I'm like super down. I don't have the energy. I'm super, or sometimes I'm like super anxious, depressed, just because I'm not
Yeah.
able to find what.
I don't think I got depressed, to be honest. I mean, because you're still outside, so that you still kind of, you're in the nature, so it's
You're
kind of
enjoying
hard to
it.
be depressed in the nature, I think.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, but I had some pretty tough moments. Sometimes like I was crying in my tent because it was
And
like we were
why?
on the top of a mountain, just the two of us in like small tents, and it was like windy and I couldn't sleep and it was cold, and you know we've been there for a week and
on the
mountain.
Oh,
Yeah, we were
okay.
just looking at rocks, and in the Yukon where I was working, it's
it's
daytime.
super cold then.
No, but in the summertime,
summer it's okay?
it's okay,
Okay.
but it's daytime until basically the sun doesn't set. So
Yeah, it's the days are longer.
yes, so basically we were working, you know, until 11 p.m. sometimes, you know,
Wow.
really the whole day. So we're really tired, and yeah, that was
Tired and exhausted.
yeah, those were like pretty tough moments. But
Wow.
now when I'm looking back on those, I'm glad I had
Enjoy
them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm appreciating them.
Sometimes you just have to like.
Even
Sometimes you just have to take a pause and say, okay, you know, it was actually worth it, or if not, yeah.
yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, and I think they were worth it. You
They
know,
were
we
worth it,
learned
yeah.
a lot from those
Yeah,
experiences.
and it's also probably was a good thing for you to have longer days so you could actually experience
Get the
it.
work done too. Yeah,
Because
like,
Yukon,
I
I've heard,
mean,
is a very beautiful place, but cold in winter, like super cold, extreme cold, because the north close to close to the north. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty cold.
Pretty
It's
cold, yeah.
pretty north.
And how was it during summer?
In the summer, it's pretty warm. As I said, it gets up to 20, 25 degrees.
Okay.
And yeah, I know people have this conception that in the north it's like so cold. But, you know,
I thought.
yeah,
I mean, you just
know.
cleared my
You know, like I
misconceptions there,
saw,
like,
I saw through that, and
yeah.
actually, you know, in Alaska, you have like really humid places, and you know, like you.
I've been to Alaska, but I was not at.
Oh, okay, but
the Yukon.
Yukon is at the same
All on the
level,
same level,
latitude as anyway.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's not. It is pretty cold, but you know, even in Nunavut, where it's even norther, it could reach up to 20 degrees in the summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Anything else about the journey of PhD?
Yeah.
Don't do it. No, I'm just joking. No, actually, for people who want to do a PhD, I think it takes like, you know, a bit of it takes courage and to be a little
Patience.
bit nuts,
Patience
you know,
too.
and patience. But no, what I'm saying, like people who want to think about it, you know, to get into a PhD, yeah, you definitely need patience to do a PhD. Like 7 years into a PhD, that's a long time. But yeah, for the people where you need to be a little bit courageous and nuts at the same time to
I know
get into
a
it.
few of my friends. It's been like 9 years and they're still doing.
Oh, there you go.
So
Okay, so yeah, I could take quite a long time
Yeah.
to do. But it's a very rewarding experience, though.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Do
Well,
it.
I'm glad
Do
you actually having like what you were looking for, and then you're experiencing it throughout, and had an amazing journey throughout.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I have, and so much more to come.
Well, okay. And before I end, I generally ask, as a traditional question to end the podcast. So, one thing that you would probably want to change in your life overall, could be lifestyle, could be health habits, or could be, anything that, eating habits, eating patterns, music, anything that's on your priority list, but you haven't got a chance to work on it. So, what would it be?
Okay, that's a good question. Pretty happy with my life, but I'm sure there's lots of things.
I'm happy to hear that. Like, pretty happy that you're pretty happy with your life. But yeah, I mean, one thing that you always wanted to do, apart from your research or something that you always wanted to do, but you never got a chance, never got time. Like, you're talking about claims. To do research, like something like that. But I'm saying like something that.
So I really want to get into sailing. So that's one thing that
there you go.
I haven't had the chance to get as much into, but I'm definitely looking into it. It's one of those things. But other than that, I mean, because I'm looking at my life just that's coming, and I'm like, oh, there's so much more left. I have so much time to do things, which I know it's not the case. But I haven't thought about it like that yet. Like, what I haven't had the chance to do. I think like I'm thinking I still have the chance to do them. So.
Okay, there you go. And thanks for answering, and thanks for your time today, Adina. And it was super good to know all these things, and especially looking at the
speck of gold.
A speck of gold, and it's like beautiful. And I wish you all the luck to find more and more, like, a bigger chunks maybe, and keep experiencing what you experience, and like throughout your fieldwork, and enjoy what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Adina. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. This was awesome.